about stepping on flowers and chill. Oh shit. I triggered it again. I thought it would reset because I was in the thing. Whatever, let's watch it again.
Alright.
I've lost count of how many times her she looks like she's fucking devastated. Why don't you get it? I turned it up so you can hear it. She just fucking...
Aren't you gonna get killed?
Nah, just hurt. I think she'll leave me alive. Oh, I love it. It's so good. Ah, jeez. I love shit like that.
I love you.
That's unrelated. But, hey, you're adorable. But that's off topic. Anyway,
Eat something.
yeah, you're right. Let's
Eat a
eat
steak.
some seared steak. And baked apple. Who bakes apples? I've never seen anyone bake an apple.
I have.
What? When?
Apple pie.
That's different though. Well, like, just eating just a fucking baked apple by itself is fucking weird. Silent shriek. If it sees you being assaulted, it will not say anything. Oh, God. Alright, anyway. I wasn't gonna say that, but you didn't care.
Nope.
You give no shits. I enjoyed that about you. You are dumb. Anyway,
You're the one who's dumb.
That's true. It's my favorite fucking thing. Lucy Harris, smart. Martin Harris, dumb. Oh shit.
I'm so excited to see the Yelp episode. I'm
Yes.
looking forward to that.
Because you know how it,
I know the song.
but you know the song, so like it's too bad because like you know how it's gonna end and everything. Oh shit! Hey guys. This could be a problem. I just sat down and now they're gonna rape my dead body. Great.
Oh.
Oof! I got fucking owned.
Wait, how did you die? Like,
He just shot me in the face.
Shit, that's a problem.
That's fucking hilarious. Like I was gonna just walk around. I should have just ran first of all. But that's a great thing about this game. It can be like unpredictable like that, or like you can just fucking encounter with something that will just kill you immediately. Makes the world seem more real. Anyway, Night in the Woods sucks because all the characters are fucking annoying, millennial stereotypical fucking people. All the characters read the exact same way. There's no diversity. Like you couldn't pinpoint one out from the other.
That is annoying.
It's clearly trying to like play off of like, because people who play video games are often people who are like kind of socially like on the precipice. Like people who like don't interact with a lot of people. That's typically the video game audience, and namely the indie game audience.
Yeah.
And it's clearly trying to like profit off that group by the main character is like
Aegis.
Main character is like has some weird like disassociative running away. Some weird like dissociative disorder. Dropped out of school or something. Has all these fucking oh hey guys. Hey, help me! Help me! Is run from these dudes. It's the kid. The main character has like personality disorder, like social like issues and stuff.
Yeah.
And like that's. It's not at all subtle either. Like it's clearly meant to be like it's really the only like facet of their character.
Yeah.
And when you see that, like okay, we're just trying to play off of like. This character is meant to appeal to people who are like that also.
Yeah.
And there's ways to do that like subtly, but like this game cares nothing about subtlety. Like it's just throwing all these like messages in your face with no ounce of like trying to do it organically or like present it in a way that's realistic. It's just throwing it all in your face. I actually wrote down like a whole like paragraph or like 2 paragraphs about what I hate about it. I won't read that whole. I won't read the whole thing out. Maybe I will later, but not right now. But basically, the whole like ugh whatever thing is like where I draw the most ire towards it because it's shooting star,
Nice.
is because like every character like it's just the attitudes of like every character is just like so like ugh whatever sigh like I'm trash like all that shit you hate hearing like millennials say
Yeah.
like all that stereotypical like annoying bullcrap that like
Do they say things like turnt or bay?
no.
Good.
Because they're not that kind of millennials. They're the kind of millennials that like don't give a shit about anything.
Oh, so they're Sean.
That that believe that believe that there's like no point to anything, and like because of that they just act this way towards everything.
That's
They have no
bullshit.
like they have. It's just the most annoying. It's the most annoying kind of people. Like
Yeah.
the people who like think like they're who view themselves as like so like enlightened because they have this attitude that there's no point to anything and like and that there's no point to life and like oh I'm trash and all this like stupid bullshit and like the game acknowledges that it's stupid shit to an extent, but that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
Like when you acknowledge when you're trying to like critique it, that's fine, but when you acknowledge that it's stupid and it's like annoying, but then like don't do anything to change it, like that's no different than like just doing doing it like normally, there's no like real difference there.
That does annoy me.
So yeah, basically that's one of the things I hate about it. At least that was where the ugh whatever thing came from. And like here's the thing, if the characters were all like 15 years old, like it would be fine. Like it would make sense, but they're all like in their 20s.
What?
Like they're all like 22.
Oh my
And like
God.
that's just fucking insufferable. Like there's no excuse for that. Oh hey, I know something.
I mean, I don't know anyone. I don't think anyone we know acts like that.
No, not at all.
Armored Kirk.
But yeah, so like these are like our age characters acting like fucking like fucking a 15-year-old like emo kid, like and like that's I can't stand that shit, that if I see someone like that I will fucking just call it out immediately. Like okay, my siblings have started acting like that, like both of them, and like that has gotten on my nerves a lot, like so I would get on their nerves a lot just because I was like kind of energetic and like sure yeah. And like sort of energetic, like kind of annoying at times. Like that's how I would be as a kid. Like I've reined it back a lot. Like I'm conscious of when I do it if I am doing it, and if I want to stop, I'll stop.
Yeah.
If I don't want to like annoy someone, I'll stop.
Yeah.
But like they develop these really like annoying like millennial, there's no point to anything attitudes, and like if I see that in anyone, like my siblings included, I'll just fucking say like, dude, fucking stop, like get over yourself, like it's the same crowd of people that like think they're so like enlightened and like smarter than everyone else because they watch Rick and Morty or whatever.
Oh, I hate people like
And Rick and Morty makes.
That's why I don't watch the show.
Yeah, Rick and Morty makes like similar like points or ideas, but it presents them intelligently. It like it does things with them, and it's not for no reason. They'll present those sort of like there's no point to anything, whatever ideas, but like do it in an effective way that like works for the show.
Yeah.
But then there's people who just adopt those ideals and just call themselves Ricks or whatever because they have this really like pessimistic, obnoxious view on the world. And like no, that doesn't make you a smarter person. That makes, if anything, it makes you a stupider person.
Yeah.
And that shit just really gets on my nerves. And I really start seeing that in my siblings now, and it's annoying. It sucks. I'm hoping Sean can still grow out of it because he's going through puberty and shit, and like who I was at his age is not reflective of who I am now at all.
Absolutely.
But he can still grow out of it. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
But Christina or Cleo, as she's known, I'm worried that she's not going to grow out of that anytime soon, and that's a bit worrisome for me. But anyway, that's why I hate Night in the Woods. It's reflective, and here's the thing: because so many of the main characters of that game act this way, it's almost like justifying other like people in real life acting this way.
Yeah, and it's
You know,
fucking stupid.
they'll see that happening in the game, and they'll be like, oh, okay, so like. It legitimizes this horrible like fucking behavior and attitude that these people have, and makes it like real and like makes it like authentic and like that and like no, you should be encouraging people to act this way.
Absolutely.
Like whether you're doing it inadvertently or not, like that's not a thing you should be doing.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. It's basically a walking simulator. Like there's no, all you do is just hold the control stick left and just talk to people, and that's the whole game. There's no real, like, all the game has going for it is its story. And if you don't like the story, then the whole thing just falls through. You can't get engrossed. If you like the art, like, all it has going for it is an art style.
Yeah.
And a story. And if you hate the story, then all you have is the art style. And like, a game can't be, like, very few games can be carried by its art style. Very few, like, there has to be more to it than that for it to work.
Some board games are pretty and like that has like something going for it, and like my eye goes towards the.
So even if the gameplay is like kind of like immediate like lackluster, it's still it can still work for you.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
But
what's happening?
Like it doesn't necessarily work for me. Like I remember over break, I went to play board games at the local store at home.
That's right.
And I played Takanoko, which is a very pretty game.
Oh. I didn't see that.
But I didn't buy it because I didn't like the gameplay enough.
You know what? You just perfectly summed up another point I was going to make. The game is like $20, and the experience is not worth $20. You know, there's no gameplay really. It's just, it's worth maybe $5.
Yeah.
And and that's for this. And see, you saw that in that board game and decided it wasn't worth buying because. And for another reason, I don't like On the Woods because there's no replay value.
Yeah.
Like once you've experienced the game, the story once, that's it. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing real. There's no real point in replaying it. And I think you probably saw the same thing in the board game because you didn't buy it. Like you play it once, and that's it. You're done with it.
Yeah.
So paying full price for it in your case would not be worth it.
Right, and that game was like $50, and I was like,
see, there you go. There you go. The price at which they sell this game is not reflective of like how much enjoyment or how much satisfaction you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like the ending of the game isn't even satisfying. It ends on the same like there's no point to anything, blah 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 blah. Life is meaningless point. And like you get to the end and you're like, what was the point? It's not satisfying at all. There's like you get to the end and it's like, all right, well that was like 6 hours of my life gone,
Are we supposed to go towards that dot?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, so like here's the thing. It's a Zelda game, so there will always be distractions on the way.
Yeah.
No matter what game it is.
Sorry, but
So don't worry.
it also reminds me of like the reason that like Julian or like Ding Dong don't like Dream Daddy.
Both of them, yeah, they don't want to get.
They don't like Dream Daddy because like it panders.
And the other thing is like, you play Night in the Woods and you can tell this game is trying to be smart.
Yeah.
Like it's trying to make this like existential kind of statement about life and everything. And when something is trying to be smart, like it very rarely is. Like you see right through it. Like there are some games that are smart and like you can tell they aren't trying to be, or like it's. Sometimes a game is accidentally smart, or sometimes like it tries to be smart and succeeds. But this is a game that like you can tell it's trying to be intellectual.
Right.
It's trying to be like high art.
Yeah.
And like my thing with high art is like it shouldn't. If something is high art, it shouldn't be trying to be high art. It should just be high art.
Yeah.
Like inherently in the way that it is.
Yeah.
Because if something is trying to be like super important and like I've said this a lot, and it's a philosophy I sort of live by. Like, taking yourself too seriously is never a good way to live,
It's
you know?
true.
And when you create something that's trying to take itself that seriously, like it's a losing venture, and like it doesn't work. It very rarely works the way you want it to, and it just comes off as obnoxious and like self-important to anybody else. All right, it's not my games over. We're gonna get to the fucking village. It's right over there.
Woo!
And I'll maybe talk more about the game.
Woo!